You already know what I'm about to say. I can feel it in the way you're listening to this right now. That little flicker of recognition that just sparkled somewhere behind your ribs. Those marks you've been carrying, the ones you have been trying to hide, the ones you've been downplaying and explaining away and telling yourself are just quirks of coincidences or maybe even character flaws. Those marks are not hiding you. No, they are revealing you. And the people around you are starting to notice whether you are ready for them or not. So, you felt it in the last few weeks, haven't you? That strange shift in how people look at you. The way conversations seem to pass when you enter a room. And not in an awkward way, but in a charged way. Like there is something in the air that wasn't there before. Something that it makes people stop and pay attention. It's not your imagination. No, it's not. And it's not paranoia. It's not you overthinking things the way you always do. Something is happening, something that's been building for a long time. Something you have been sensing but haven't quite been able to name. And it's starting to crack the surface of your everyday life in ways that are becoming impossible to ignore. Here's what's actually going on. You have been walking around with these invisible signatures stamped all over your presence. These energetic fingerprints that broadcast who you really are to anyone with even a sliver of awareness. And for years you have been trying to keep them contained, keep them hidden, keep them carefully wrapped in layers of normalcy and accommodation and playing small. But here is the thing about what's really inside you. It doesn't stay buried. It was never meant to. And right now, at this exact moment, those marks are pushing through harder than ever before. Not because you are doing anything differently, but because something in the larger fabric of things has shifted. And the world needs what you have, starving what you have in a way it didn't need before. Think back. Just think back to the last time someone looked at you and said something that made your stomach drop because they'd seen something you thought you'd hidden perfectly. Maybe it was a stranger who stopped you on the street and told you that they felt something peaceful around you. Maybe it was a friend who asked if you'd been doing through a spiritual awakening, using exactly those words, because they could see it in your eyes. Maybe it was a coworker who told you seemed different lately, more grounded, more steady, like you knew something they didn't. Those moments are not accidents. Those are the first cracks in the dam of your hiding. The places where your real nature is starting to leak through, whether you are ready or not. And here is the part that might actually scare you. More people are starting to see it than you realize. Not everyone has the eyes for it, but the ones who do They are noticing the way you move through the space with a kind of quiet authority that doesn't need to announce itself. They are noticing the way your presence seems to shift the energy of whatever room you are entering. And they are noticing that when you speak, even quietly, people lean in. That's not your imagination. I'm going to repeat that part. Not your imagination. That's your marks becoming visible. That's something in you that's been dormant for way too long started to wake up and stretch and demand to be acknowledged. You have been hiding yourself for survival. I know that. I know the reasons you've been giving yourself that hiding. You don't want to be seen as too much. You don't want to be misunderstood. You don't want to attract the kind of attention you have learned over the years, because it's dangerous and exhausting. Both, actually. You have created a carefully curated version of yourself, one that's more palatable, more digestible, more that doesn't make people uncomfortable with how intensely you see them, how accurately you perceive their hidden layers, how much you understand without having to ask. But here is the thing about that version of you. It's not working anymore. It's not sustainable. And the people who are being drawn to you, the ones who are meant to find you, they are looking for something real. They are looking for what you have been hiding. I want you to think about the last time you felt completely seen. Not just noticed, not just acknowledged, but truly seen. The kind of seeing that makes you feel both vulnerable and safe at the same time. The kind that makes you realize you have been walking around with a weight you didn't even know you were carrying. That's what's starting to happen more frequently now. People are starting to see the parts of you have been keeping tucked away. And instead of being scared of, instead of rejecting you the way you have been conditioned to expect, they are drawn to you. It's unsettling, it's unfamiliar, yeah, I know that. It's making you feel like something is shifting beneath your feet that you cannot control. And you are right to feel that way. Something is shifting. You have always been different. You know that. You have known it since you were a child, since the first time you looked at the world and saw something everyone else was somehow missing. You have known it in the way your friendships felt somehow shallow, no matter how much you cared about people. You've known it in the way you could never quite fit into any box that was offered to you, never quite match the picture that were painted of how life was supposed to go. You have known it in the way you could feel other people's emotions, like they were your own. In the way you could walk into a room and immediately know whether something was wrong. In the way you could look at someone and see right through their carefully constructed surface into the messy, complicated realness underneath. That's not a flaw. No, definitely not a flaw. That's not a weird thing about you that you should be trying to hide. That's a mark. Yeah. That's your signature. That's one of the signatures you've been carrying this whole time. One of the clues that something bigger is happening in you. And the reason people are starting to see it is because you cannot keep these things contained forever. They have a tendency to leak out around the edges, to show up in unexpected moments, in the way you offer kindness to someone everyone else has dismissed, in the way you see through the games people play and refuses to participate in them, in the way you have an ability to be present with someone else's pain without running away from it or trying to fix it prematurely. I have watched this happen dozens of times. I've seen people who were practically invisible suddenly become magnetic. I've seen people who were, in my practice, I've seen people who were hiding in plain sight slowly stop hiding, not because they made a conscious decision to change, but because the very change was already happening inside them, and they just finally stopped fighting it. The people around them noticed long before they did, actually, long before they were willing to know that, to own what was happening. Other people started being drawn to them, started trusting them more, started opening up to them in unexpected ways. That's happening to you too. You just haven't been willing to see it for what it is. The marks you are carrying, the ones you've been hiding, they don't make you weird. They make you chosen. And before your mind tries to reject that word, because it feels too heavy or too presumptuous, or too whatever, I want you to sit with it for a second. Chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It doesn't mean you're above anyone else or that you've been singled out for some special treatment or special favor. Chosen means you have a particular kind of capacity, a particular kind of sight, a particular kind of ability to carry what other people can't. It means you have been positioned and prepared for something you are still in the process of understanding. You have noticed, I'm sure, that your sensitivity has been amping up lately. You know, you cannot handle the same social situation you used to grit your way through. You need more time alone, more time in quiet, more time without the constant barrage of input that everyone else seems to take for granted. You feel things more intensely, both the beautiful things and the painful ones. And it's exhausting and confusing and making you wonder if something is wrong with you. That's why you need time alone. Because nothing is wrong with you. Your sensitivity is increasing because you are coming into alignment with who you really are. The protective shell you built is cracking open. And the raw reality underneath is starting to breathe. Other people are starting to see this too. They are seeing a depth in you that wasn't visible before. A patience that doesn't run out. An ability to be with them without needing to fix or change or manage them. They are feeling safer in your presence. Not because you've done anything to try to make them feel safe, but because your frequency has shifted and they are responding to it. You don't even have to try. You just have to show up and be the person you've been trying not to be. And the person you've been trying not to be is exactly the person people need right now. There is a hunger out there for authenticity. I think you know that. A desperate, gnawing hunger that's been growing for years. People are tired of services, tired of performances, tired of pretending they don't feel what they feel. And when they encounter someone who's actually real, who's actually willing to be present with what's really there, it's like water in a desert. They don't know what to do with it at first. They don't trust it, but they cannot stop being drawn to it. And that's the position you are in right now. You are the person who can sit in their mess with someone else without needing to clean it up, who can stay present with pain without running away, who can see the truth underneath all the layers and still love what you see. That's not a role you chose. That's a role you were made for. Let me tell you something. What else is happening? And this is the part that's probably going to make you a little uncomfortable, because it's already happening and you have been trying to ignore it. People are starting to ask you for things, not material things, not favors or money or help moving furniture, but something deeper. They are asking you to see them, to witness them, to hold space for them. They are coming to you with their stories, their confessions, their fears. They are longing to be known. They don't know why they are doing it, not consciously, but something in them recognizes something in you. Something in them knows you can hold what they are carrying without dropping it. Unconscious mind, they are saying that. And here is where it gets really interesting. You are not just being seen by people. You are being seen by something larger too. You are being positioned in a way that feels accidental but are not. You are finding yourself in places you didn't expect to be, meeting people who seem to arrive exactly when you need them, having conversations that leaves you with a sense you have been led somewhere without understanding the path. The coincidences are piling up, and they are starting to feel less like coincidences and more like design. That's unsettling too. It should be. It means you are on the edge of something that's about to change everything you thought you knew about how the world works. The hiding has to stop. That's why. Yeah. Not because it's the right thing to do or the noble thing to do or because you are supposed to be brave or whatever. It has to stop because it's not working anymore. You can feel that. You can feel how exhausting it is to keep this up, to keep dimming what's trying to light up, to keep apologizing for being who you were made to be. You can feel the toll it's taking on you. the way it's draining your energy, the way it's making you smaller and smaller until you barely recognize yourself. You can feel how much of your life you have spent trying to be acceptable to people who cannot possibly understand you, because they are operating from an entirely different frequency. You have already made the decision. I think I'm sensing that. Maybe not consciously, maybe unconsciously, maybe not in a way you have been willing to admit to yourself. But somewhere inside you, you have already chosen to stop hiding. That's why things are shifting. That's why people are starting to see what they are seeing. That's why you are listening to this right now, because something in you knows it's time to come out from behind the mask and let yourself be what you have always been underneath all the pretending. What's waiting for you on the other side of this is not rejection. I know that's what you're afraid of. I know that's what's kept you hiding for so long. You've been rejected before, you've been misunderstood, you've been told you were too much, too enough, or somehow wrong. You have learned to expect that, to brace for it, to protect yourself against it by becoming less visible, less real, less available. But what's waiting for you now is something different. What's waiting for you is that people who have been looking for you, the ones who need exactly what you have, the ones who will recognize you, not in spite of your marks, but because of them. Yeah. I want you to remember a specific moment, a moment from your childhood, maybe, or just a moment from your earlier in your life, when you felt completely like yourself. Yeah, that feeling of being exactly who you are, without any filter or performance, where your words came out naturally and your presence felt easy, and you were not checking yourself or editing yourself or trying to be something you are not. That feeling is still available to you. That feeling is actually who you are at your core. And the marks you carry, the signs that you are chosen, they are just the full expression of what original, unfiltered self. Other people are seeing it not because you've become something new, but because you are starting to remember who you always were. The layers are falling away. The hiding is getting harder, and what's emerging is something that cannot help but be noticed, that cannot help but be seen, that cannot help but draw people who are ready for what you are carrying. You are not trying to be noticed. You are not seeking attention or validation or recognition. You are just becoming more yourself. And that's what's making you visible. There are people in your life right now who are watching you more closely than you know. There are people who are being changed by your presence, even if neither of you is fully aware of it. There are people who are responding to your marks, even though they don't have language for what they are feeling yet. You are shifting things just by being present, just by being a little more real, just by letting people see a little bit more of who you actually are. That's the power you carry. That's what being chosen looks like in practice. You have been alone in this. I know it felt like that. You know the solitude that has been crushing sometimes, the sense that nobody really gets you, the feeling of being in a room full of people and still being somehow invisible. But that solitude was part of the preparation. Yeah. The isolation was part of the formation. You had to get to a place where you could actually hear yourself, where the noise of other people's expectations and opinions had to fade enough for your own voice to become audible. And now that it's audible, it's not just for you. It's for everyone who's been waiting to hear it. The marks you've been hiding, they are not going away. They are not something you can permanently suppress. They were built into the architect of who you are. And they are going to keep pushing through, keep becoming more visible, keep drawing attention, whether you are ready for it or not. That's not something to be afraid of. That's something to orient yourself around. The hiding was temporary. The visibility is what's real. And I know you are worried about what people will think. I know you are worried about being seen as arrogant or self-important or somehow deluded. You've been taught that any belief in your own specialness is dangerous. That is somehow wrong to acknowledge what you really are. But the thing about what's happening to you, the thing about the marks you carry, is that they don't require you to feel superior to someone else. It just requires you to stop pretending you are something you are not. You are not ordinary. You never were. And pretending you were has cost you way more than you have ever admitted. It's cost you the depth you could have had. It's cost you the connections you could have made. It's cost you the peace that comes from simply being who you were made to be. And the people around you, the ones who are starting to see what you have been trying to hide, they are not going to reject you for what they see. They are going to be drawn to it. They are going to recognize something in you that they have been looking for, something that reminds them of what's possible. Here is what I want you to know. You are not wrong for being what you are. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not too intense. You are not strange or weird or somehow broken. The qualities that have made you feel like an outsider your whole life are exactly the qualities that make you essential. The things you have been hiding are the things people need. The marks you've been trying to conceal are the evidence of your calling. And the people who are starting to see you, the ones who are becoming more present in your life, the ones who are seeking you out and confiding in you and feeling somehow changed by your presence. They are not imagining things. They are responding to something real. They are responding to the part of you that you have been trying to keep under wraps. They are responding to your marks, to your authenticity. the way you can see them without judgment, to the safety that they feel in your presence, to the inexplicable sense that you understand something they have never been able to articulate. You have been given something rare, not to make you feel special, not to elevate you above anyone else, but so you can serve, so you can show up for people in ways no one else can, so you can carry that others cannot, so you can see what others miss. The marks you've been hiding are exactly what make you useful. They are exactly what make you essential. And the moment you stop hiding them, you start fulfilling the purpose you've been preparing for. I'm going to push you a little bit here. And I want to be honest with yourself, about this. You've had moments recently where you've recognized something in other people too. You've met people and felt an immediate sense of familiarity, like you'd known them before or forever. You have encountered strangers who felt like old friends. You have found yourself in conversations that felt significant in ways you couldn't explain. Those are not coincidences either. Those are encounters that are happening because you are becoming more available, more visible, more ready to connect with the people you are meant to connect with. There is a collective thing happening right now. That's something that's been slowly building, and you are part of it. You are not just an observer. You are not just a bystander. You are the people who's been positioned to help make something happen. Something you probably cannot see clearly yet. Something that's going to become clearer as you stop hiding and start showing up. The marks you carry are not about you. They are about what you can do for others. They're about what you can offer. They're about the way you can transform the spaces you enter just by being present, just by existing. And I know it's terrifying. I know the thought of being fully seen is one of the scariest things you can imagine. I know you've built your life around staying invisible, around being the one who observes rather than the one who's observed. But you are being called out of that, not by me, not by any external force, but by something inside you, something that's been growing and expanding and getting harder and harder to contain. And the choice is simple. Although it's not easy, you can keep hiding and watch the opportunities pass you by. Or you can start letting yourself be seen and discover what you were actually made for. You are already started the process, even if you don't fully realize it. The way you've been showing up differently lately, the way you've been speaking a little more honestly, the way you've been letting people see a little more of what you really feel. Those are not small things. Those are the first steps of something that's going to change everything. And the people around you are noticing. They are seeing something shift in you, something they cannot quite name, something that's drawing them closer. The marks you carry are not your shame. They are your signature. They are the evidence of who you have always been. And the reason people are starting to see them is because it's time for them to be seen. Not because you are ready. Opposite. Because honestly, you are probably not. Yeah, it's opposite. But because the world needs what you have, and the timing is finally right. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to know where this is going. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to stop hiding long enough for what's in you to find its way to the people who need it. I need you to hear this part clearly. You are not alone in this. I know it feels like that way sometimes. I know the hours you spend alone wondering if anyone else experiences what you experience. But you are not alone. There are others like you, others who are carrying their own marks, others who are in the process of coming out of hiding. And when you stop hiding, you will start finding them. They will find you. They will start finding you. And together, you will start to understand what this is all about. The people who are starting to see you are not going to use what they see against you. They're going to judge you or to reject you or to make you feel wrong. They are not. The ones who do that, the ones who cannot handle what you carry, they are being filtering themselves out. They have been leaving your orbit naturally, making space for the ones who belong there. The ones who are being drawn to you now. The ones who are starting to see what you have been hiding. They are the ones who are ready for you. They are the ones who need what you have. You have been hiding your marks because you thought they would repel people. But the opposite is actually happening. The more visible your marks become, the more the right people are drawn to you. The more authentic you allow yourself to be, the more the people who need authenticity find their way into your life. The hiding was never protecting you from rejection. It was protecting you from connection. And you're starting to realize that connection is what you have been hungry for all along. I want to speak to what's happening on the other side of you right now. The pressure you're feeling, that expansion, that sense that something is pushing against the boundaries you've built. That's not anxiety. That's not something going wrong or something wrong with you. That's something growing. That's the thing inside you that's been trying to get out. Finally getting strong enough to move the walls you've built around it. You are being stretched and it's uncomfortable. But this discomfort is evidence that you are changing, that you are becoming who you have always been underneath all the layers of accommodation and performance and hiding. So the marks you carry are becoming more visible. Precisely. Because you have been carrying them for so long. They've been gathering strength, accumulating power, getting ready for the moment when they would be needed. And that moment is now. You can feel it. I know you can. That's why you're still here. That's why something in you resonating with what I'm saying. That's why you haven't turned away. You know something is happening. You can sense it, and you are starting to realize that hiding isn't just impossible anymore. It's something you don't actually want to do. There is a different way of living available to you. Yeah, a way that doesn't require you to dim yourself, to edit yourself, to apologize for who you are. A way that lets you show up fully and trust, really trust, that the people who are meant to be in your life will be your people. Yeah. And the ones who are not will naturally fall away. A way that lets you use your marks, your sensitivity, your perception, your depth, your serve other people, rather than hiding them in shame. That way is right in front of you. Yeah, you have always had access to it. You have just been too afraid to take it. But you are taking it now. I can see it in the way you're listening to this, in the way something in you is leaning in the way you are allowing yourself to consider what I'm saying. You are not closing down. You are not dismissing it. You are letting yourself imagine, just imagine what it would be like to stop hiding, to let people see what you have been carrying, to discover what happens when you show up as who you actually are. And that's not nothing, that's everything. That's the beginning of everything, actually. The people who are starting to see you are not a threat. They are not a challenge. They are not out to expose you or to judge you or make you feel wrong. They are the proof that you have been carrying something valuable, something other people need. They are the evidence that the hiding was never serving you the way you thought it was. They are the invitation to stop pretending and start living in the truth of who you are. You don't have to know how this ends. You don't have to know where all of this is leading. You just have to be willing to stop hiding long enough to find out. And the more you do that, the more you will realize that the marks you have been hiding were never your burden. They were always your gift. They were always what would connect you to the people and the purpose you were meant to find. They were always the proof that you were chosen for something, not in spite of who you are, but exactly because of who you are. The fact that people are starting to see you, the fact that they are drawn to you, the fact that they trust you, the fact that they open up to you in ways they don't open up to others. And that's not your imagination. That's not coincidence. That's the marks you carry becoming visible. That's the thing inside you that you have been trying to hide finally being seen. And it's not a problem. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace. Yeah, really embrace. You were never meant to be invisible. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to fit into the small boxes that other people created for you. You were meant to be seen. You were meant to be known. You were meant to be the person who shows up and changes things just by being present. And the reason people are starting to see you is because it's time for them to see you. It's time for you to stop hiding and start letting yourself to be what you have always been underneath all the pretending. The marks you carry, are not your secret. They are your signature. They are how people recognize you. They are how the people who need you will find you. And the more visible they become, the more you will realize that you were never in danger of being rejected for who you really are. You were only in danger of losing yourself to the hiding. And now that the hiding is ending, you are finding yourself in a way you never could before, never could have imagined. I want to leave you with something, not as ending, but just beginning. You've already been seen by people who matter, by people who need you, by people who recognize what you carry, even if they don't have words for it. You are already being drawn into something bigger than you can fully understand. And all you have to do, all you have ever had to do, is stop pretending you are something you are not. Stop hiding. Let yourself be what you have always been. Let yourself be seen. And watch what happens when you finally do. Because the marks you carry, it's the evidence of your calling. They are the signs that you were chosen for something, not to be better than anyone else, not to be above anyone else, but to serve, to show up, to be present, to carry what others can't. And the fact that people are starting to see them is proof that it's working. It's proof that you are emerging. It's proof that the hiding is over and something new is beginning. Don't hide them. Let them be seen. This is what you were made for.